Since I was little, I've always loved the color red. When I was asked my favorite color, I would always say red. And when asked why, I could never answer. I didn't know why that color appealed to me so much, but it did. When I was little, I never really liked horror movies. I never liked being scared. I hated haunted houses, clowns, masks, dolls. I didn't like the concept of fear. And I hated the rushes of adrenaline I would feel when I got scared. That's why I never liked roller coasters either. I hated that stomach-turning feeling of free-falling down steep drops. But that all changed when I turned 11. I rode my first big roller coaster, and to this day, I don't know why, something inside me just changed. I just wanted to do it, and I loved it. Suddenly, I loved the drops and the free-falling. I felt like I was flying, like it was free. And the screams. I enjoyed hearing screams of everyone, but there was always something off about it. Something that bothered me about the way those people screamed. And I could never quite figure it out. Not long after that, I watched my first real horror movie. I say real because I had only seen a few before when I was really little, and since then, I had always been too afraid to watch any others. I can't recall the name of the movie, but almost everyone I knew at my school had seen it and said it was really scary. They called me chicken for not having seen it, so I decided to suck it up and watch it. It was more of a guts and gore movie rather than scary, though, which watching it gave me a weird feeling in my stomach and put weird thoughts into my head. And at the time, those thoughts frightened me. I'd see people in the movies being chopped up and gutted while they were still alive. Seeing that made me think about how that would feel and how it would be to do that to another living person. But in the end, I told myself it was just a movie. I knew it was. But that didn't make it any better. I was scared of those thoughts, but at the same time, I liked the feeling it gave me. The next day was a Saturday, and I spent it watching scary movies. The ones with jump scares that would make you crap your pants. But after a while, I became accustomed to the sudden jumps and loud noises, and instead began to find the movies comical. I laughed at the stupid decisions the characters would make, and I laughed as they stepped right into the path of the serial killer. Then, when I turned 14, I went to my first haunted attraction. It was a haunted forest in a place called Erie Acres. It was about 11 at night when my friend and I went. I didn't really have any friends at the time. In fact, I had never really had any friends ever. So that's why I decided to bring my only friend, Casey. She was a real scaredy cat, so I kind of had to force her to go in. The moment we walked through the gates, we were enveloped in a dark forest, similar to the ones in scary movies. Casey grabbed my arm and held on as we walked further in. We soon came upon a horrific scene. I was absolutely delighted. I smiled. A chainsaw started behind me. My smile grew. I broke free of Casey's grasp and ran. She screamed and tried to catch up to me, but I was much faster. I laughed, my adrenaline pumping, my heart racing. I bolted through the forest, giggling at every gruesome sight. But then it was over. I stopped. I was out of the forest and back at Erie Acres. No, I thought. No, this isn't right. Suddenly it hit me. This is all fake. This is all fake. All of it is fake. The movies, the forest, they're just actors. It's just fake blood. It's just rubber bodies. Behind me, Casey came running out looking terrified. "You can't just leave me like that, Allie. You know how scared I get," she said. "Sorry." "Sorry? That's it?" "It's all just a fake. None of it was real anyway." I walked away from her and toward a back road. Casey never talked to me again, but I didn't care. When I was 17, I got a job working at a year-round haunted house called Ripley's Haunted Adventure. I was actually pretty excited. I had a unique fascination for all things Ripley's. I worked from 7 to 2, but I had to show up at 6 to put on makeup and get dressed. I played an insane cannibalistic teenager. I had to sit still in the dark till a group of people walked through. Then the lighting effects start up, activating on sensors, and the lights flicker. I then get up and start towards them, pointing a fake knife I hold at them while I babble crazily about how I'm going to eat them. I know, it's not scary at all. The torn, open rubber body beside me doesn't even look real. The blood is too pasty and bright, but it seems to work well anyway. Everyone screams and looks at me in terror. I move closer, laughing hysterically as they stumble over each other and push and shove to get away. It was fun at first, terrifying people, but then I got bored. It was the same old thing every night. I was frustrated. What's the point of haunted houses or scary movies? Why do people freak out or jump in fright? I didn't understand. They were in no real danger. How could they possibly be in fear? Why do they feel fear when they know they can't be harmed? I wasn't even allowed to touch anyone who came through. I was told it was for safety precautions. I felt like I needed to add something to my little act, something that would spark real fear. So I brought a knife, a real knife, to replace the fake one I was given. I figured if I hide it and swap it out after I was in place, no one could stop me. So that's what I did. No one who came through noticed. They just gave me the usual terror-filled look. Until I decided to take it up a notch. I thought, why can't I touch them? I mean, it could really give them a taste of fear. So when the last group of people came through, I did a little something extra. I reached out into the darkness in between light flashes and grabbed someone's wrists. The light flashed and I took the opportunity to quickly slide the knife against the person's shoulder, allowing them to feel the sharpness of the blade. They shrieked and tried to pull away, but I held tight. The rest of the group had already run in terror. I guess they must have thought it was part of the act and that their friend would soon be following again, so they went on without fear. I guess they would have no way of knowing what was about to happen, because in that moment I realized I had the power to create my own horror story. Something that you couldn't just go through, eyes closed, and come out safe on the other side. I could create something magnificent. I slid the knife down her arm and across her wrist. Her high-pitched scream echoed through the building, but no one would come to help her. They probably just thought it was someone being scared by my act. But then again, it was. I was inflicting pain and true terror on someone. She was my canvas. This was my art. Now, what can I paint? After Ripley's had closed for the night, all the actors came out to put their street clothes back on and remove their makeup. As I walked out into the dressing area, a fellow actor asked if I had put on extra fake blood once I got inside. I asked him why he would ask. Well, you seem to have a lot more blood on than usual, and it looks different. Did you use a different kind for yourself? I grinned. I had hoped someone would notice. Yes, you could say that. This one is much more realistic now, isn't it? Yeah. I don't recognize it. It's cool. I giggled. He gave me a funny look and walked away. When I got home that night, I turned on the TV and switched to the news. Breaking news. The newscaster said that a girl had gone missing. The last place she was seen was in a haunted house. It was the same one where I worked, Ripley's Haunted Adventure. The police had searched the place but found nothing. Of course they hadn't. They're so stupid. I'm too smart for them. 2 weeks later, 2 more people had gone missing in that haunted house. They closed it down for a full-scale search. But they're too late. They'll find the mutilated bodies, the remnants of my horrific act. But I'm already in another state working at a different haunted attraction. I'm going to make new works of art. And you know what? I figured out why I've always loved the color red. I do love red the most. Hair, clothes, lipstick. I love them to be red. That's why I love using fresh blood to do makeup for those women. The more red, the more beautiful. I like painting with the color red. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you very soon in my new haunted house. Enjoy the act.